how are you? Good to see you guys today. I'm jumping on live, about to record a training. So I thought I would jump on here and talk about the 3 things that are helping coaches, speakers, authors get in to the slipstream of the separation season. Like I don't know if you're perceiving it, but there's a separation happening right now in the online world. And I want you to be at the front. Like I want you to have the opportunity to be at the very front of that path. And if you're a coach, if you're a speaker, if you're an author, doing it the way you've always done it 2 years ago, even a year ago, is actually having you slip back into not being seen and heard. And so I have it on my heart today to come forward. It's my son's 15th birthday. Holy moly, how's that possible? And I'm just sitting here thinking about you and about how important it is that you get your mission, your message, your ministry, the thing that you're put on this earth to do, that you get it out to the world. And in a fear economy, we're in a fear economy. That's what's happening right now. We're in an economy where the news is not projecting things that are positive. And so there's an energetic of fear and unknowing and uncertainty. And I want you to watch when your brain starts to hook into those uncertain things. Like our brains want to take us off track. Our brains left without training it like we do in 67-day year or in this certification, your brain naturally will try to protect you. And so I want to talk about this specific thing that I'm seeing so clearly, this pivot, that if as an entrepreneur, whether you're just getting started or you've been at it for a little while and you're not getting the traction you want, that if you step into these 3 key principles, that you can start to see yourself separating from the pack. You can see yourself getting to the front, becoming known for your niche, becoming sought after. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be known in your niche. I want you to become famous in your niche. I want you to become the front of the line, not the back of the line, constantly wondering what everybody else is doing. And I've been saying this a lot in my community. This is separation season. Like those that listen to what's happening and connect to this truly can collapse 5 years in their business and get to the front of the line. But those that continue to do things like old marketing methods, old ways of speaking, old ways of serving, old ways, broken old ways, then we're going to be in that scenario that Einstein talked about where we're continuing to do the same things and we're wondering why we're not getting a different result. And so that's what I want to talk about today. And it's really 3 different things. And I've kind of put this in an acronym like think, know, and grow, just so you can remember them. Think, know, and grow. So the first key is to think. And when I say think, I mean thinking differently than you have in the past. Because in the past, we're thinking that other people know the answers. We're thinking that we don't have a knowledge of where we're going. But the new generation of people who are literally creating their own economy, their thinking energy is around the fact that pivots and change is part of the dynamic now. And so what will happen is there'll be a separation for those who can handle the thinking of a 7-figure entrepreneur that can pivot and be comfortable with change, get some traction, pivot, get comfortable with change. I think the difference between 2 years ago, the thinking of a 7-figure entrepreneur 2 years ago versus the thinking of a 7-figure entrepreneur today is that there is an expectation that things will change and that I can adapt to the change. And so getting our brains comfortable with change is a decision you actually have to allow in your mind. You actually have to see that change is good versus change being uncomfortable. And so unfortunately, a lot of us, our brains are trained to think that change means going backwards. But in this period of time, this separation season, this is the key to thinking like a 7-figure entrepreneur. It's diving into what's going on for people right now and how can I solve that problem with my programs, with my talks, with my books, with my coaching? How can I get them there fast with the problem they have today, not the problem that is general from 2 years past? And the thinking is, I'm actually no longer sitting on the beach, sipping pina coladas, just wanting the money to roll in, that big lie that was sold, right? And I'm actually leaning in, and I'm in intimacy with my clients. I'm thinking about what they're thinking about. I am hearing what the struggle is, because I can tell you the struggle even a month ago feels different than the struggle today in terms of what your clients really need support around. So in terms of the first key of this is like, think in a way that will allow you to step to the front of the pack. Because when you're listening to your clients and you're thinking that change can help you hear your people better, serve them better, get them faster results, then it allows your brain to get comfortable with change, comfortable with pivoting, comfortable with listening to your clients, your future clients, and hearing where they're struggling and stepping into the gap and solving that problem for them. So that's the first key piece in this separation season, is think like a current 7-figure entrepreneur, not like the old projection of one. In fact, I was talking to a few friends of mine recently, and we were talking about how so many people in 2019, 2020, 2021, even 2022, saying they were running 7-figure businesses, where in the backside, they're spending 7.1. They're not really 7-figure entrepreneurs. So I was talking to my friend Megan the other day, and it's really about like, are you a profitable entrepreneur? And the thinking of a profitable entrepreneur is very different than the thinking of an entrepreneur that even can get to 7 figures, but is literally spending more than they're making. And I don't want that to be you either, right? I mean, pretty much all of us could spend enough money to become a 7-figure entrepreneur. But are you really a 7-figure entrepreneur if you're spending 7.1, right? 7 figures and 100,000, you're actually 100,000 in the hole. You're actually paying people to be a 7-figure entrepreneur. That's very different than the kind of mental capacity to run a business at 7 figures means you're really thinking about what your people need, and you're really engaging with them. You're intimate, you're in connection with them, and you're getting comfortable in the shifting of the marketplace, because the next few years really is going to require that kind of connection grit. And that requires you deciding and thinking about it and training your brain to actually allow intimacy with other people, allow change to be normal and not feel like you're, spinning your wheels. So that's the one key component, but think like a 7-figure current entrepreneur that's profitable, that is really making impact. All right. So that's the thing. Know is the second pillar. Knowing really kind of moves down to a couple things. I think the seasons are gone where you could copy someone else's material and have the trust of the audience for them to come and work with you. And as you're seeing, because of that, so many people are shifting out, are not doing well. And the separation season, you got to know what you're talking about. In other words, you've had to experience it, gone through it, created it, and then speaking from that hindsight. And the other piece of the puzzle, especially for coaches, is knowing how to coach the right way. Like, there is a right and a wrong way to coach. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. And I really take a stand on this because there are some certifications out there that are teaching you how to coach in a way that actually causes harm. And I'm just going to be real about that. I'm not going to call out names. That'd be lame of me, but literally half measures availeth do not avail much according to the Bible. And I see that so much, where the brain has a very specific way it transforms. There's step-by-step processes that have to happen in the brain for you to have a transformation, to think one way and then ultimately think a different way. And to have a pattern that you want removed and actually remove the pattern. That's a brain-based process. And you can't do it halfway. And that's why the know, K-N-O-W, knowing how to coach the right way. Of course, we we create a certification to teach you that, because it's vital in today's day and age. If you're an entrepreneur, you got to get your clients results. Your heart, I want your heart to be for their completion, not for their yes to your program. So you got to think like this current 7-figure entrepreneur, not like a past 7-figure entrepreneur. You got to know, what you serve and what you do. And then you got to know how to do it the right way. Really invest. If you're going to invest this year, invest in knowing how to get transformation for your clients and get them to the finish line. And that's what we do in the certification, because honestly, in this separation season, people are not looking for your promises. They're looking for results. And I want you to think about that. At the end of the day, creating raving fans comes from this place of getting them results. So how do you get the results? Well, certainly you got to think in a way that allows you to be pacing in a profitable way ahead of them so they can follow you. You got to know your stuff. You got to not be telling someone else's things, but truly stepping in from knowledge. And of course, I'm always going to be a champion of getting certified through the Sync NeuroCoach certification so that you know the right way to transform people's thinking. Because if you're selling them something and it doesn't transform their lives, they are going to forego that for someone who can get them that transformation. So you got to know what you're doing, and you got to know how to coach the right way. Because in this separation season as an entrepreneur, I think we've got this connection to, I don't believe you've actually gone through this. And without taking a hard left turn on how the brain, thoughts and emotion creates a atom in the energy field. And we feel that when someone hasn't actually created the result that they're saying they're going to do for you. So know your stuff and also know how to coach, because in this season, not getting results for somebody is just not going to fly. And honestly, at the end of the day, if you're an author, if you're a coach, if you're a speaker, my heart would hope that you don't just want them to buy your programs, that you actually want to do things in a way that you can guarantee their results. Now, you can't guarantee results for somebody who doesn't do the work, but if someone's doing the work and you have a model to get them to transformation through certification, then you should absolutely be able to see and measure them getting to the finish line. Now, the reality is I run programs. Not everybody's going to go all in. As much as I take a stand for it, not everybody's going to go all in. But our metric is trying to get 100% of them to the finish line, not to the starting line. So you got to think, you got to know, and you got to grow. You got to grow your audience differently than you have in the past. There was audience growing pre-2022, and there's audience growing in this new economy in 2023. If you're listening to this after this is 2023. And so there is a separation in how to grow an audience now versus then. And so a lot of people are still selling and marketing old ways of growing audience. But here's what I want to ask you. Don't you, if you think about the people that you're listening to still, that you're following, that you feel trust for, chances are you feel more connected to them, and there's more intimacy, more connection, and more deep coaching going on with them than there are these social influencers. The day of social influence, it's not that it's not around, but if you're wanting a business, like a legit profitable business, right? Then we really got to help you grow your audience in a way that they engage, that they lean in, and that they feel connected to you, number one, we're not surface level anymore, that there's some intimacy going on, some sharing of what you've gone through, some deep sharing. And then there's some deep coaching, to coach the right way, and you're actually getting them to the results that they need. And so these are the entrepreneurs that are literally flying to the front of the pack. They're thinking differently. They're thinking like a current day profitable 7-figure entrepreneur that's on listening to their people, comfortable with change, comfortable with pivots, They're knowing how to coach the right way. They're getting certified through the right model, not through all of those models that half measures avail nothing. They're actually saying, I want to get my people to the finish line, right? And they're not pretending to know and saying other people's things. They're actually stepping out from their experience, right? And then finally, they're really growing an audience in a way that is intimate, that is connected, and is deep level coaching. And that's what's creating trust in the current economy. And one of the things that's super important for me, if you're listening to me on the podcast or if you're listening to me live, is that we don't want to just be in business to be in business, right? We want to be in business to change people's lives. If you're a speaker, you're wanting to change people's lives. If you're an author, you're wanting to change people's lives. If you're a coach, you are taking somebody from an A to a B, right? So like they have a result they want, they're not getting it on their own, they're trying to get there. They need your help, or they have something that they don't want anymore and they want to get rid of it. That's an intimate yes to a product. It's not a marketing pens or calculators or phones. This is real people's lives, real people's transformations, real people's results. And so for those that are in today's current marketplace as an entrepreneur, this, I believe, is the separation season. Those that hear what I'm talking about and literally plug it into their business, get super passionate about thinking like a current day profitable 7-figure entrepreneur, knowing that I have to hear what my people are saying. I need to be able to pivot and not have a program that goes on for years and I sit on the beach. I need to be able to be comfortable with change. I need to get in the rooms that will help me, hold me accountable, right? You got to know the right way to coach people. Like there is a right and a wrong way to coach. And if we're doing it with these broken other certifications, I'm sorry, but you are going to struggle because it isn't done in a way that actually takes the brain to completion of the transformation, which is what you need for your clients. And then you've got to grow your audience in a way that they can really deeply feel trust, because as you can imagine, trust is a thing that was easily given 5 years ago if you said the right words. And nowadays doesn't really necessarily matter if you say the right words. We're seeing between that. And we want people, we don't want influencers to follow. We want people, real people that have gone through things, that know the right methods, that can get me results that are real, that are intimate, that are connected to me, that like we know each other, and deep coaching is happening. And so that's why I wanted to bring these 3 concepts of literally helping you get into the front of the pack of online entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, coaches, because this is separation season. I'm going to keep saying it and saying it and saying it, but you got to know. You definitely have to think, you have to know, and you have to grow. Like you have those 3 components. And if you hear this and you're like, okay, I hear you, Shannon, I understand. And I talk a lot about these 2 key pillars, like training your mind to allow it. That's the coaching and helping you know the transformation, having that 7-figure mindset to go get you to the next place. That's the think and the know. And then the grow part, like you really got to build an intimate audience. It is so different than it was even a year ago. These become your raving fans. They literally sell your programs, your coaching, your books for you because they believe in you. They know you've been through it. They know you've coached them the right way. Here's the thing. They know you're getting them to the finish line, not the starting line. And that's the key difference right there. And so I just wanted to talk about these 3 key differentiators that is going to allow you in this separation season to catapult yourself to the front of the pack, the part of the pack that they're asking you to be on stage, that they're asking you to come speak on their podcast, that people are lining up to buy your products, not because you're phoning it in, but because you really tapped into what's working now, this thinking like a 7-figure profitable entrepreneur now, knowing how to do it the right way, getting certified so there's no doubt that you can get people to the finish line, and then growing your audience in this right way. It's very different right now. And I just Really want to bring that forward. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this separation season. And if you've been in my community for any length of time, or if we're meeting for the first time, hi, but my heart for my clients is that we pace together and ultimately you get to your highest capacity. And the only way to do that is for me to share what's working for me. So I had to shift my think, right? I had to shift from the old way of thinking like a 7-figure entrepreneur to the new way. I had to really shift into knowing exactly what I serve, how I serve it, listening to them, and using our model that creates brain-based transformation. We have in our communities a 92% completion rate. In fact, my team, my sales team, my coaching team, they know that the yes at the purchase is not the win. That yes is a yes that they have said for themselves. Our win is when they get to the finish line. And that's going to help you in the separation season once you know how to coach the right way. And then you start to adopt that thinking. And then the last thing, growing your audience, connecting, intimacy, deep coaching, it's happening differently. But I just wanted to come live with you today to talk about these 3 key differentiators in the separation season of the online entrepreneur world, because I want for you to shift. Don't do it like you've always done, but see that there is a very clear path to elevating your business, elevate your thinking, elevate your knowing, elevate your growing so you can elevate your business and elevate your life. And it'll be fun to join together over this month and really unpack for you. How do I think that way? How do I build my niche in the right way? How do I find my people? And then how do I engage them so they become clients? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to see you impact all the people you are called to impact. So this month is going to be, I believe, that place where you start to truly get traction toward that. And I'm looking forward to playing a role in that for you because I love you. I know you're called by God to do the things that you're doing. And it's time that you stepped out to the biggest version of you and started impacting the amount of people in the world that you know you were called to impact. All right. I love you to pieces. All right. That's what I have for you. Bye for now.